Hey, great guys. It is wonderful to have us here. Again, we have tons of participants, which is awesome. I am very excited because this week is your Project 1 week, your Topic Exploration Worksheet. We're going to do this as we did it last week, which is I will present the PowerPoint and hopefully answer a lot of the questions that you are having. And then at the end of the session, I will open up to the floor. Does that work for everyone? Awesome. Okay, so as I said, this week you have Project 1 Topic Exploration Worksheet. The goal of Project 1 is to familiarize yourself with the topic. Use the research kit to identify research questions. Use the research kit to identify primary and secondary sources. Reflect on why this topic is important to you and society. Let's see. Sorry guys, I am trying to see. Okay, I see. Okay, so I go here. That's not that I want to stop sharing. Okay, when I just made it big there, could everybody see it big? I know guys, we're going through technical difficulties tonight. But when I made it the full screen, did it become full screen for everyone and easier to see then? Awesome. Okay, let me keep it as full screen while we're talking, and then I'll make it small screen again when we're done. Okay, so goal of Project 1, familiarize yourself with the topic. Use the research kit to identify research questions. Use the research kit to identify primary and secondary sources. Reflect on why this topic is important to you and society. You'll notice I keep reiterating using the research kit. A common pitfall of this assignment is that students don't go to the research kit and they just Google what interests them about the dropping of the atomic bomb on Hiroshima by the Americans during World War II. And by doing that, you basically could not get any points because the object is to use the already created research kits to learn how to create research questions, evaluate sources, develop ideas from these sources, and then reflect on why this topic is important. We want you to learn historical thinking skills. And so before you're ready to go out into the world and Google the answer, we want to show you peer-reviewed sources and primary sources that have been found to have validity and have been checked by other people. And even though some might disagree with this conclusion or that conclusion, they are overall sound. And so for this, we want to make sure that you're using those sources. So no matter what, make sure you go to the research kit. You'll notice that the research kit, well, I think I'm getting ahead of myself. So where can I find the research kits? Click on Course Documents in the navigation panel. Scroll down to the research kits and click on this link. At this point, just read through the different topics and sources. Just get an idea what you can write about. It might not be perfect for what you're most interested in. And I completely understand that there might be some frustration because you really had this idea that you wanted to write about X topic. But what I also want you to think about is a lot of times when students get really passionate about a specific topic, they don't quite realize how large that topic is. So we give very narrow topic fields and research sources to answer those topic fields because we know that it's very easy as historians, and we do it all the time. I did it when I was writing my dissertation. I ended up actually, my proposal, I ended up crossing out like several chapters, well, not several chapters, 2 chapters. My dissertation was 9 chapters. It was going to be 11. But by the end, I realized if I kept going, it was never going to end because there's always something else to write about. So we want to limit what you guys are writing about because we want to focus on your historical thinking skills and your own analysis of. Just write it down or make a Google Doc or open a Word doc and just type up your chosen topic. Then think about 2 research questions, or the research kit has 2 research questions. So choose 2 research questions from your topic that you feel fits. You're going to have a time later in the course to revise these research questions. Then 2 primary sources, again from your topic, and 2 secondary sources. Just look at the titles and see which ones you think might best help you write about the topic you've chosen. Part 1, first choose a topic. Select a research topic area for Project 1 so this is, again, I've actually literally taken the Topic Exploration Worksheet and I've done screenshots and I'm putting it up here. So we want you to choose a topic. Your topic is either going to be scientific and technological advances, government and domestic policy, military strategy, international relations, effects on citizens. I would say that the most popular topics are usually science and technology, military, and effects on citizens. I think that's what most kind of grabs people about the dropping of the atomic bomb. And so that's what I most regularly see in my classes. So choose one, whichever one interests you. You've gone through the research kit now, you know which one you liked. So what you're going to do is you're just going to put a little check in it, little X, and then you're good. Next, you might, how I did it when I was doing various things was, I just created a text box in the little field, and I put a little X. That's how I practice that. Next, we want you to explain what you know, and I'm going to tell you what we mean by that. So it says write a short paragraph about what you already knew about the topic you selected prior to this course based on your personal history or experience. This can include assumptions, beliefs, values related to the topic. Be as detailed as possible. So this is what we need you to do, these 5 questions. Identify the topic you've chosen. So you're going to say, I have decided to write about military strategy. Explain your interest with specific reasons. I am interested in this topic because my family has a history of serving in our military, and I would like to see how military strategy has perhaps changed over time since we dropped the bomb, or how dropping the bomb created military strategy, or what was the thinking behind dropping the bomb? What was the strategy of the military, either in why we did it or how we did it? Explain what you know about the topic. I know that in 1945, the United States dropped bombs on Hiroshima. Explain any opinions you hold about the topic. Because I have a family history of those in the military, I am more inclined to believe the overall argument that we dropped the bomb to help end the war early. Explain any ideas you have about whether the topic can be seen positively or negatively. While I do not believe that dropping the bomb on civilians was necessarily a good thing, I believe that it was perhaps the only way to end the war. So I just made up reasons. Okay, guys, can you hear me? Okay. Wow, that was very fun. Thank you all for raising your hands, because otherwise I would not have seen. So now I'm not going to make the screen big because now I'm concerned. So we're not going to make the screen big. Thank you very much for that, guys. That was very good. I'm just going to get rid of all the hands raised. All right. All right. I know. You got me. Yes, thank you for your help. This was good. Thank you for your support as we work through this. All right. So as you guys work through the topic exploration worksheets, it's divided into 3 parts, correct? I know. I love technology so much. But without technology, we could not be doing this. Okay, so there are 3 parts to the worksheet. Submit through journal, that's actually the old terminology. I have to double check the new terminology. But when you get to part 1, you can click on part 1 and just kind of copy and paste from your Word doc. Always keep everything separate in a Word doc or a Google Doc. I can't stress that enough because as you just saw with my computer freezing, technology, man. I have had people lose assignments because they'll type it in the box and then that's it. Also, with discussion forums, always do everything in a Word or Google Doc before you do it. So, right, so submit through journal. So when you're doing your part 1, you can click on the part 1 submit, and it will open up a thing so you can copy and paste your part 1 of this part of your topic exploration worksheet, and this. So do that. I'm calling it the journal because that's what we used to call it, but just do it through that assignment box. Does that help if I say do it through that assignment link? Thank you. Yeah, okay. So do it through the assignment link. Okay. Okay. All right, good. I do see one hand raised. Okay. All right, so when I say journal, I mean to just do it through the assignment link. We used to call it the journal. I have to try and remember what the now term is. All right, but you want to, the important part about this is if you submit in the different breakdowns, like part 1 and part 2, and then the whole thing, your instructor will get back to you if you submit it early enough. So what I suggest is submit it before Friday at 11:59 p.m. so your instructor has at least 24 hours to get back to you on it, and then you can use any suggested revisions or find out that you're on the right path before you have to submit it by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. I'm going to also tell you to do this for part 2. If you don't have feedback after you submit your work, email your instructor to let him or her know it was submitted. I say 48 hours here, but honestly what I have found very helpful is I'll have a student submit part 1 through the part 1 link, and then they will just email me. Because not every, since the part 1s and part 2s, when you're submitting through those links separately as opposed to the whole document, are done as just making sure you guys are moving along and not for credit, a lot of students just don't do them, which is completely fine also, but it can help your grade a lot better and your understanding. So when you download the topic exploration worksheet, do you know where to download the topic exploration worksheet? Under your Theme 1, Week 2. You want to download in Part 1 of Theme 1, Week 2. I believe that's where the whole topic exploration worksheet is. And that should show you upload assignment. There you go. Okay, we call them progress checks now instead of journals. I'm going to need to change this so it's all progress checks. Right, it downloads all the pages, so you just fill out one at a time and submit them one at a time that way, and we understand. Don't worry about only making it part 1 or part 2 when you're submitting it that way. If you finish part 1 and you just want to submit it, just submit it that way. We'll know that it's part 1. We won't worry about part 2. But you can do that too. You can do that too. I would message your instructor and just ask them to look over all 3 parts, and they will not mind. Your instructor will not mind because here's the secret, guys. The better your work is when you submit it for your grade, it's kind of like the less work in a way that we have to do, because we can say what you did really well about it and maybe a couple of what you could work on, but it's a lot easier for both of us. So I actually really prefer when students give drafts over the week, because when I can give that feedback, I can kind of get us on the right path right away. I think that's fine. Yes, you're going to submit all 3 by Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. I am discussing the progress checks, which before I put this PowerPoint up on the learning community tonight, I will change the wording on. Okay, do we all understand what I mean? Yeah, that's totally fine. Yes, everything is fine as long as you submit to a progress check. And let your instructor know that's what it is. So do we all understand what I'm saying about the progress checks now that we have the right terminology? Great. All right. Okay, moving on then. So, part 2 are the research questions. And this is where, again, sometimes students have problems. They choose the research question. So, okay, let's get into it. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, what do we want you to do? Identify one question about the topic you're curious about. Okay, give me one question and a complete sentence. Explain what you would like to know about your topic. So, you'll see in the black font, that's me explaining what I want you to do. That's great. I'm glad that you know what you're doing now. I just saw something. Yes, all 3 parts are due Sunday, but you can submit parts 1 and 2 throughout the week to the progress checks to get feedback from your instructor. But then on Sunday night, you submit all 3 parts. So describe why this question matters to you personally. In 1 to 2 sentences, explain why this topic is important to you personally. Provide specific details to demonstrate why you are so interested. So in the past, I've had students who want to write about the impact on the effect on the civilians, and they've put in that they want to look at psychological trauma because they are a psychology major, and so they're wondering how long this impact stayed with them. And that's great. Then you said, why does this question matter to society? Again, in 1 to 2 complete sentences, explain why you think it's important for society for us to answer. Is it related to current events? Influence how we see current events? Again, in the past, a student who is writing about psychology, you'll notice a lot of times I use examples from previous students that I thought did a really good job. So, for example, in part 1, I had a military student who explained that, and I thought that was really good. Here in part 2, I had a psychology student who explained why she's really interested. And she didn't write, not 5 sentences. She stuck with, I want to say 2 sentences, but it was very specific. We have not, so I think, why does it matter? Well, the United States has not dropped an atomic bomb since World War II. What impact did that have on the people who survived? Did that affect our foreign policy? Just different questions that she really wanted to go through and why they're important. And I think that's something we need to keep an eye on. Okay. Do we understand what I'm saying then about what we need to do? Because you're going to do it twice. You're going to give us 2 research questions. I only showed you 1 section. So again, give me the research question. Tell me why it's important to you personally. You might want to tie it to your major. You might want to tie it to family history. You could even tie it to, I saw a documentary on the History Channel, and it made me really curious about this. And then why does this matter to society? Something about how we do not engage in atomic warfare. Something about how we did not understand the extent of atomic warfare maybe on people. That we did not realize there would be survivors and what that would be like for them. Just all of those things that make it important and how it shapes our world today. What about our world today when it comes to atomic weapons and the use of them really impacts what we're doing? All right. So then in part 2, you need to do sample research questions again. So here's where, okay, I gave you examples. So identify a second question about the topic you're curious about. So I put, what happened to survivors of the atomic bomb? How did radiation affect the rest of their lives? Describe why this question matters to you personally. I'm interested in this topic because I hope to work with cancer patients, and I'm interested in seeing what life was like for people who suffered from radiation 70 years ago. So part 2 has 2 boxes. One is for C. They have 6 boxes. So part 2 here has 6 boxes. Here's one. Identify one question about the topic you're curious about. Then they'll have another set of 3 boxes that say identify a second question about the topic you are curious about. Can a topic be, that is not one of the topics for the Topic Exploration Worksheet, and that's going to be correct. That is not a topic. So we want to make sure that we stick with the topics for the Topic Exploration Worksheet. Yes, this is being recorded. I'm recording this right now, and I'm hoping we can edit out the 50 minutes of panic as we all lost each other. Okay, so the 5 questions. So I am going to put this PowerPoint, once I change project checks, I am going to put this PowerPoint up in the learning community tonight as soon as this is over and I edit project checks and progress checks. And then by tomorrow night, this webinar will be up on the learning community. So if you want to look over the questions you should answer in part 1 again, this PowerPoint will be up tonight for you to use. Right. No, you're welcome. That is, we are trying. So I am trying to make it not as easy as possible, but as clear as possible for everyone. Obviously, it's still a lot of work. So second question, so I had given personally that I would want to work with cancer patients because I had a student say that once, and I thought that made it very personal and interesting. And so why does this question matter to society? I believe these questions are important because we may have learned about the impact of radiation on the human body, and this may help us deter us or another country from dropping another atomic bomb. So again, it ties to current events. So always be specific. Okay, guys, here it is again, but remember, it's not journal, it's progress check. So once part 2 is complete, submit it through your progress check. And if you've submitted part 2. Part 2 before Friday, again, at 11:59, your instructor will provide feedback to help you revise before submitting project 1 by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. If you do not have feedback, email your instructor. I'm changing that mentally too. Email your instructor when you submit it, just so they know, because we don't necessarily check the grade book, especially if we've graded early in the week. We might not check the grade book for 2 or 3 days because it might not be on the top of our priority. So if you want us to look. So yes, make sure through the progress check. But remember, this is just for the progress checks, not for the final one. We're getting there. So part 3, sources. This is where you're going to use your 2 primary and 2 secondary sources from your research kit. You need the full citation for the research, for the source. You can copy and paste that directly from the research kit, but give the full citation. This is another pitfall. I've had students either just give me the title. The most common one I have is students just give me the web link, the URL, but they don't tell me anything else about it. That's not going to get you the full credit for this. So copy and paste the full source, the author, the article title, the journal page, the date, and the URL, and put it in these little boxes that I'm going to show you. Oh, that's okay. That's kind of fun. All right. So this is what it should look like. I did it. So part 3, you're now ready to complete the final part of your topic exploration worksheet. So look what I did. List which secondary sources provided will be helpful for investigating your first one. I on this one only did 1 in each. If you want to get like exemplary credit, do more than 1 in each box. You'll notice I had a hard time fitting them, but your boxes can be made bigger. So do more than 1 in each box, but you'll see I put the whole link. So your instructor does not have to go anywhere and look anywhere and try to figure it out. So secondary sources, primary sources from the research kit under your topic. That is what is important. Okay, for some odd reason, this part is almost always completely blank. I shouldn't say always. I'd say in 20% to 30% of the submissions I receive, part 3 is left blank. I'm not sure why, but I want to make sure that none of you have that problem. So let's look at part 3. Now that you've gone through the research provided on your topic, good, thank you, yes, do this. Provided on your topic, describe what you've learned about your topic in 1 to 2 paragraphs. So, should be 1 to 2 paragraphs and complete sentences, should include specific examples of what you now know about your topic that you did not know when you first began your research. So part 3, I don't think there's a progress check for part 3. I think you submit part 3 along with parts 1 and 2 by Sunday night, and that's your whole topic exploration worksheet, and that is what is graded. I see someone typing. I hope they're going to say that I know what I'm talking about with this one. So part 3, oh, there's a progress check for 3. Guys, you are the best. No, you are the best because you are correcting me, and that's what needs to be done. Look, this is going out to the universe. We need it to be good. So we're going to keep it good. No, it's correcting. I don't mind being corrected. The only way to improve is to be corrected. So it's good. All right, there's a progress check. So submit that as well by Friday. Make sure whatever you're submitting for your progress checks, if you want feedback, that you submit them by Friday. And you tell your instructor, because your instructor is going to need at least 24 hours to make sure that they actually look at it and can get you feedback. And you're going to want that 24 hours after that in case you need to make revisions. So the progress check is ungraded. On Sunday night, you submit the whole thing, and that is graded. And it's quite a bit of points. Okay? Yeah. So there you go. See, that's good. Yes, get it in today. That's awesome. And then you will be able to make the full correction. So all of the progress checks are ungraded, and then we're going to go with that. All right, so what do we want in your progress checks? 1 to 2 paragraphs, complete sentences, should include specific examples of what you now know about your topic that you did not know when you first began your research. So, putting it all together. Review the feedback from your instructor on parts 1, 2, and 3, and revise accordingly. Check your spelling and grammar. Go to the 243 topic exploration submission and submit your work. Take a deep breath and relax. Does that sound good, guys? I feel like we answered a lot of the questions as we went, but more people, more questions. Anyone have a question on this assignment? Now that you have shown that you have all looked at it. Don't forget the last part. Relax. Always relax. Good, I'm glad. I would submit through submission, but you attach the file. I'm sorry, attach the file. Easy for me to say. What? Hey, I'm the one giving this lecture, and I had 2 corrections that I now have to go in and fix the PowerPoint before I give it to you guys in the learning community. So, there's no relaxing over here, my friends. No, it's fine. Well, I think you're going to be okay. I think you guys are going to be okay. I'm glad that this webinar helped. I hope the webinars continue to help. Obviously, you can reach me in the learning community. Just, do you guys know how to find my name? If you use the @ symbol and type in Elizabeth Burbridge, it's like the Batman signal. You can call me. You can also obviously email me any questions. If you want to send drafts, I would first start with your instructor, just because even though we instructors, we're grading along the same thing, because we want to make sure that across the courses, every student is learning the correct skills that we're looking for. So even though we do that, I would run it past your instructor, like a draft, before I'd run it past me. But if you have a question that you have, just a general question, you can raise it in the learning community, and myself or one of your peers or the peer tutors can help. Where will this PowerPoint be again? I am going to post it directly to the learning community after this, and will also be located under files. I see a hand raised. So whoever the hand raised can ask a question. Oh my gosh, she is doing so well. So well with that, with the potty. There's a question about potty training my child for those who listened last week. Yeah, it is going really well. Kind of unnerving that we might be out of diapers, like, officially soon. Like, she's even nighttime. Like, she just is. Like, we have not done anything about nighttime, but yeah. So, now that we all know where we are. Okay, the short response question for 2-1. So what part of the short response question for 2-1 are you concerned about? Oh, well, less than a month. You'll get there. Okay, so let's go over it. So what part of 2-1 are we concerned about? Let me see if I can find it and put it up here. So if you have already submitted the project, but now you realize you might want some feedback, I would email your instructor that that's what you're going to do, and that should be fine because you can submit it more than one time. You think you get up to 2 submissions, so if you want that, that should be completely fine. I am just going into the class to make sure that I have 2-1. One second, and I will answer that question. I'm just quickly looking up the assignment. You might hear clicking as I just go through it. Oh, the primary source hunt. Okay, yes. So what we want you to do, it's actually kind of fun. And we basically want to know if you were successful in finding these sources. So you are going to look at the information we provide, and you are going to try to find them within these archives. So we give you links, and you just want to find them. And if you do find them, we want to know what link you found them at and how you found them, like what your search terms were. Did you look for a letter? Did you look for petition? All of those. And if you did not find them, we want to know what search terms you used. And that's it. And you don't get in trouble if you don't find them, because it's more just that we want to know what you are doing to how well you are navigating different online archives. Okay, I'm reading some past things. It does not have to be. I said make sure you save aside, like basically never put everything first into the system because the system might lose you. So instead, I use Google Doc or a Word doc and save it that way so we don't lose it forever. He did have a lot of letters, yes. So the short response is 30 points, but again, you don't lose points if you don't find them, as long as you tell me what search terms you used to look for them. Google Docs is also very good. I just started using that one in the past like 4 months. Really enjoy Google Docs. So does that help the people with the short response week 2-1 assignment on what we're looking for? We want you to go into the archives and try to find specific documents. And we basically want to know what type of words you would search for to find those documents. If you have success, just give us the URL and explain how you looked, why you decided those search terms. If you do not have success, explain the search terms you used and explain what other information you think would have been helpful to know to help you find those terms. Does that help with the short answer for 2-1? Again, 2-1 is actually really fun. I mean, I've had students who have been unable to find 1 or 2 documents, and I know that they feel like they feel sad that they did not complete the hunt, but they tell me why and what happened, and I can make suggestions on how it might have gone better if they had looked for X, Y, or Z. But again, you don't lose points if you don't find them as long as you tell me why you couldn't. Yes. So you've only used footnotes in the past. You can use footnotes in this class. You can use Chicago or Turabian, which are footnotes. Your instructor might have a good link to how to cite, and I believe we have one in the learning community. If not, we will be sharing that shortly because this might actually be the week where we put it up. Yes, see, it's a hunt. No problem. So it's the primary source hunt. All right. Anybody else have any questions? How are we feeling about this? Are we ready to take a deep breath and relax yet? Where is the learning community? I'm going to give you the SNU link to the learning community. I call it SNU. I know. I don't think anyone else does. All right. Or maybe we all do, and I used to call it SNHU. Hold on. I'm getting the learning community link, and I'm just sharing some banter with you as we go there. All right. So here is the link to the learning community. Good night for those signing off. Here is the link to the learning community. That is totally fine to still be searching for the first one. What, you guys in college, you know how to relax eventually. It's going to be completely fine. Again, just ask your instructor for help. That is what we are here for. I know some students don't believe it, but instructors actually like it when students pass our classes and do well. It makes us feel good. So, reach out to your instructor. Reach out to us in the learning community. We're all here.